Bridge for Chelsea against Arsenal. A derby game between London's two unbeaten clubs, two successful sides, both of whom won trophies last season. But Chelsea, for whom Peter Osgood is about to have a controversial game, are able to field a much more settled side. This, in fact, is the one that drew with Everton in midweek. Arsenal are hit by injuries and they're filled with defensive players, none better than our guest today, Bob McNabb. A side missing strikers like Radford, Samuels and George, and defender Peter Simpson as well. But in Frank McLintock, they have an inspiring skipper, and today, for a change, we want to show you what captaincy is all about. Here he is going around all the young players around him, giving them a word of advice and a word of encouragement. He's had one with Ray Kennedy, he's had one with Eddie Kelly. In a moment, he'll do the same with young John Roberts as well. McLintock, who really has got this Arsenal side moving, and it's moments like this that make the difference possibly between winning and losing. He's going to make sure that these players go into the game in the right frame of mind. A 53,000 crowd, biggest of the day, now waiting for the kick-off.
So Chelsea, all in blue, get us away, defending that goal to our left against an Arsenal side bristling with defenders. Four fullbacks, no less, in this lineup. Rice, McNabb, Story in the number 8 shirt, and Sammy Nelson in the number 9, with Radford out of the side. Here's Weller for Chelsea. Both sides unbeaten this season, London's two most successful sides in these opening first few weeks. Bob Wilson, the Arsenal goalkeeper here, number 1. And a push in the back by Dempsey on George Graham. John Dempsey, who came up and scored one of the goals against Everton on Wednesday night. And it's John Roberts with the free kick for Arsenal. Headed away the game by Dempsey, beating Kennedy in the air. Houseman. Certainly Chelsea you would expect to make most of the running this afternoon, with Arsenal so crippled by injury and fielding so many defensive players. The onus really is much more on Chelsea. Here's Weller to Mulligan. Hollins, and a poor pass there from Hollins, easily read by McNabb, and now McNabb, having rather committed himself and supported though by George Graham. McNabb going in hard and failing. Now Hudson. Doing well in a little, very limited space, and going in hard there was Osgood, with that ball bouncing just ahead of Wilson. Made it difficult for him to gather. Nab for Arsenal. Nelson to Graham. And Hollins putting that obligingly into the path there of Sammy Nelson. Hollins desperately trying to make ground, and as well for him that Dempsey was right back as well. George Graham with a shot. Down goes Bonetti. Good work there by Bonetti. Right along the ground, just going inside that post. And Bonetti was down brilliantly from George Graham. Played for Armstrong. Hudson watching him. Nelson again with space enough to cross this ball now. Armstrong looking for it. The ball comes through to McNabb with a shot. Oh, and Bonetti capping that at the second goal from Bob McNabb, who crept in almost unnoticed. So Arsenal, for all their defence, have had the two real worthwhile shots of the game so far. The second of them from Bob McNabb, the first one, of course, from George Graham. Weller. And now Hudson. Hutchinson making a run towards the near post. Osgood towards the far post. Here's Hutchinson and Roberts there first. Harris. And Weller. Oh, trying to play a 1-2 there. Now Osgood. Still Osgood. Oh, just past. From Osgood. For a fraction of a second, he must have seen his first goal of the season coming up. Good control in a tight situation on the edge of the penalty area, and a fraction too wide as Wilson really flung himself across his goal. Story. To Hinton. And now Harris. Hollins has gone off on another break, and Nelson's gone with him. Hollins! Good work by Hollins! Oh, against the post! Can he do it? He can! John Hollins! Oh, what a beautiful goal! what you call an individual goal.
All credit to Ron Harris for the accuracy of this pass down the wing, but it's number 4, John Hollins, who scores it. He's in the centre circle, and there he goes on his run, streaking down towards the opponent's penalty area. And just watch how he catches it on his thigh. Remember, he's running at sprint pace with Nelson Herring after him. It's at this point that Wilson decides to come out, maybe too hurriedly, and gives him the chance to lob it over his head. But it hits the crossbar and bounces back. With all the enthusiasm in the world, John Hollins scampers after it, turns. 9 out of 10 players, I reckon, would hit it over the bar from that position, but not him. Right in the centre of the goal, off the meat of the boot. A really wonderful individual goal.
Hutchinson labouring a little bit. He's taken 1 or 2 knocks, and Houseman offside. Again, you can see the perspiration there on Hutchinson's face as the whistle goes for half-time. And the end of 45 minutes for Chelsea, really battering against a brick wall. And finally they found a way through with this man, John Hollins, with his goal just 5 minutes before half-time. So Arsenal then get the second half going. The initiative, I would have thought, must be with Chelsea at the moment, in spite of some superb leadership by Frank McClintock for Arsenal. There's Nelson trying to find Kennedy, but Mulligan to Hollins for Chelsea. Weller. Arsenal's throw. And there's Kelly again. Pat Rice. Kennedy going in, George Graham laying it off there for Nelson. Nelson going past Mulligan. Can he turn this one back for Armstrong? There's Kennedy there. And George Graham, and it wouldn't go through to Graham. And Hollins gets there first. Kennedy, in fact, taking just a little too long to get his position right. McNabb to George Graham. And a goal kick. Kennedy swooping to get to that one. Armstrong to Nelson. No, still in play, says the linesman. So it's George Armstrong. Kennedy looking for this one as well. And number 4, Kelly! Over the line! Oh, a goal by Kelly! Out of the blue!
There was a suspicion of that ball being out of play, but just let's look now and see as it's controlled on the line there by Nelson. The whole of the ball, remember, has got to be over the line, and I think quite clearly you can see that it's remained in play. He slips it inside now to Armstrong, and a floated cross into the middle there. And now you can see how Kelly steals in between the 2 Chelsea defenders. I think Harris was expecting Graham to head it. And notice the power of this header, because although Bonetti's in a good position, he can't get his arms up to react. There's Bonetti, the ball over his head, and he reacts too late. But you can understand Kelly reacting in that manner.
So 6 minutes of the second half gone, and Arsenal showing tremendous spirit of drawn level. You can't say too much about McClintock and the way that he has kept his men going. Now Hollins. Houseman with Harris going up outside him. So Kelly takes Houseman, and Story's gone for Harris. And the ball falls to Rice. Now Story. Kennedy, but Hudson. Osgood. McClintock taking a buffeting there in the chin, and McClintock and Osgood getting stuck into each other, right under the eyes of the referee. And the book is out. The book is out for the name of Peter Osgood to go into it. And it looks as though McClintock also is going in. Well, there's Osgood's name anyhow. And McClintock is furious with Cook, and I wouldn't think the referee would be very happy either. Of course, it's been frustrating for Chelsea. We know that in attack, with so many Arsenal men funneling back whenever there's the slightest hint of danger. But against that, you've again got to repeat that Arsenal, if anything, have made more chances this afternoon than Chelsea have made. Cook really charging in like a bull almost, and McClintock absolutely furious with him. And Cook being sternly spoken to there by referee David Smith. I should think so as well. And in goes Cook's name into that book, and really he can have no complaints. He's charging about there like an enraged bull on one Arsenal player after the other, and you just can't do that sort of thing. Well, it's been a tough afternoon for Frank McClintock, I must say, with Cook and with Osgood. Thought for a moment that was a bandage. But no, just to keep his socks up. And Pat Rice with the kick. Hudson running himself into a fair bit of trouble again. And Chelsea's throw. Well, they've got a little over 5 minutes left now, Chelsea, to make something of this home advantage, and the fact that Arsenal are badly weakened by injuries. Cook. Still 1-1. Osgood. Mulligan in a lot of space down the right. And a good pass there from Osgood to Mulligan. And there it is by Mulligan! Paddy Mulligan!
Well, that goal came directly from this throw-in without Chelsea losing the ball. There's Charlie Cook picking it up now. He finds Peter Osgood, who shows us what a football brain he has. As he cuts across the field, watch the way he curves this ball right into the space on the far side, almost tempting McNabb to go for it, but giving Mulligan a wonderful chance to streak past him, which he does beautifully. There's the left foot shot. Once again, Wilson's left stranded with no one to help him. And as a result of it, what a lovely smile.
Nobody for the deep cross at all. 2, 4, 6, 7 Arsenal men are back, and if Cook crosses it, Osgood now gone into a position. That's why he had to delay. Now Houseman. Hollins with Harris outside him. Here's Harris. Now can he beat Rice? He's got it across, but not far enough for Osgood. But Cook to Osgood again, a little slow there off the mark, Peter Osgood, and McNabb back to Wilson. Harris. Oh, and a bad tackle there by Story on Hollins. A free kick to Chelsea. That was a bad tackle by Peter Story. It's been a tough afternoon though for people. There's no question about that. When they've been coming forward, they've been stopped at all costs. And here's Cook again for Chelsea. Oh, beautiful skills there at the far post, and Roberts putting it away. Beautiful skills there by the byline from Charlie Cook, who made space for himself where none seemed to exist. Beautiful play by Cook, and if Roberts hadn't been there to nod it away, then Osgood most certainly would have been there to nod it in. Number 9 Osgood, 12 Charlie Cook. Here's the corner coming up now from Peter Houseman. Osgood poised to leap, and Wilson also. George Graham to Peter Story. Armstrong losing it to Hollins, and so it's Harris. Houseman's gone through the middle, perfectly onside. Now what can he do? Arsenal are miles behind him. He's turned it in, and too far for Weller. Perhaps kicking himself now that he didn't take on Wilson as well and try to make it number 3. Hudson, And now Cook, and he is offside. That's perhaps what Houseman should have done, but he's offside. Oh, and then he didn't get it in. Last desperate throw by Arsenal. It's got to be now. And in fact, that looks to me as though that's the whistle. Sounds like it. And it is the final whistle here at Stamford Bridge. A tough derby game, which John Hollins gave Chelsea the lead. There's the number 4, Eddie Kelly, the two number 4s. Kelly, who made it 1-1. And then Paddy Mulligan, the number 2 for Chelsea, who gave Chelsea that victory. There he is, so close to the end. So the final score then at Stamford Bridge this afternoon is Chelsea 2, Arsenal 1.